Hey, so I have probably like you more than one Google account. I have my work account, I have my personal account, and I have other ones. And what ends up happening is somebody from the calendar I don't normally use will invite me to a calendar event. And then I don't really know that I'm supposed to be somewhere because the calendar that I look at, the event's on the other calendar. Now, don't freak out. You actually don't need to code anything. I coded something for you. So let me show you how this works so that you can invite yourself to your calendar events so you don't miss anything. So if you just scroll down here on the blog post, you can see I've put in the code if you are so inclined to want to code yourself and modify it, but you don't need to know how to do that. Just keep going down a little bit more, and it says to make a copy. So I'm going to go to the file. Don't freak out. The code is there. You don't actually need to really understand it or look at it. But over here on the very left-hand side, you'll see this I information icon for the overview. So once you're on the overview page, that's where you can make a copy of this script. So you're going to make a copy and then go back. The second one is editor. I'm going to go back on there, and you'll see that in the code that I've got a little note for you here. It says email, and it's in between these quotes. So what is your email that you want to send it to? So now you are doing this from the account. You're doing this from the account that you don't want the calendar invites on. So from there is you're going to make a copy of the script on the email account Google Calendar that you don't use, and you're going to share it with the email that you do use, so you want it on that calendar. So you're going to put that calendar email address right in here. It's really important that it is in between the single quotes. It needs to be in between the single quotes, and it should turn red. And then in here it says how many days. So I have it looking for 12 days in advance. Hey, has anything been added in the last 12 days? So that it will add my other email address to those events. You actually don't want to get too far in advance, just because the more that you have to look through, the longer that it takes, and it might time out. So think about how long you really need to make sure you're adding your other account into an event, and so that you can change that number. So really the only thing you need to change is just this email address on line 3, and optionally you can just change the number on line 4. You don't have to do any of the rest of it. You're going to want to click Save, and then if you click Run, it's going to ask you to authorize the add-on. You're only authorizing yourself access to your own stuff, and then it'll only do that one time. So because you want to do it more than one time, over here on the left-hand side, you see this clock for triggers. So we're going to trigger that it's going to run this multiple times. So you're going to come down here to the bottom right and add a trigger. And since this is the only function, you can ignore that. Just scroll down. It is time driven. Keep going. So right here it says select type of time-based trigger. So do you want to do it on hours, on days, on weeks? How often do you want to look for, do you have new calendar events? So I did hour timer. I'm going to look for it, and I changed it from every hour to every 4 hours, just so that if someone in the last 4 hours has added me to a Google Calendar event in the next not quite 2 weeks, then it would find it, add me in, do it automatically on a schedule. So then all you have to do is click Save. And so now it's just going to run it every 4 hours. It'll look for events on my calendar and add my other email account that I actually use, so everything shows up in one place.